Hello everyone, welcome back to the Film Feast. My name is Sam Donchus. I am your host and I am quite sunburnt, but I figured instead of having a relaxing Sunday night in where I watch a movie, I need to catch up on some more film news, and here I am trying to squeeze more content because the longer I wait, the more news stories come out and the more stuff I gotta catch up on. On this episode of the Film Feast, I will be talking about the upcoming Gambit movie, the standalone Gambit movie, and what you should know about it, where it's at right now. For starters, this was one of the first pieces of news that I brought to y'all on the Film Feast. Lauren Shuler Donner, one of the producers of X-Men Days of Future Past, and Channing Tatum were trying to kind of rally for a Gambit movie to get made. Which leads me to, maybe you don't know who Gambit is. He is one of the side X-Men characters. I mostly know him from the 90s cartoon, which he was featured fairly prominently in. He has the power to kind of tap into any object's potential energy and turn it into kinetic energy, and he usually uses that as an explosive of some kind. His main weapons are a bow staff and a set of playing cards that he throws as small grenades, basically. And like I said, he is Cajun. That is arguably one of his biggest attributes as a character. That's what people kind of know him as and identify him as, is the Cajun mutant. He is a bit of a rogue. He doesn't like to hang out with the normal X-Men posse, so getting his own film feels fitting. I think it's safe to say that Gambit is one of the most popular X-Men characters, which is why it should come to no surprise to anyone that when the movies first started coming out, people wanted to see Gambit on screen. After 3 main X-Men films, Gambit finally appeared on screen in X-Men Origins Wolverine, played by Taylor Kitsch. The few scenes he did have were arguably some of the best in the movie, but considering the fact that X-Men Origins Wolverine is one of the worst films in the franchise and probably one of the worst films I've ever seen, that's not saying much. I don't hate Taylor Kitsch, but he is no Cajun actor, not even a Cajun impersonator. In fact, I think he was solely chosen for the role of Gambit based on his role on Friday Night Lights, where he played a Texan.
Texas forever.
He is Canadian. So that version of Gambit was ultimately a failure. And back then, I feel like we lived in a time where if a studio messed up a character from a previous entity like a comic book or a video game, that was it. They were done. They were never coming back again. But ever since the Avengers, I feel like studios have gotten a little bit more gutsy, taking bigger risks with their IPs than they would have previously. Sony wants to build up to the Sinister Six, and Fox wants to do the X-Men Fantastic Four tie-in, which doesn't even make sense because the Fantastic Four franchise reboot hasn't even proven itself yet. But one thing that they're doing that I think will work out a little bit better in their favor is exploring these side characters with their own solo movies like Gambit and Deadpool. As a side note, I think that we are still a few years off from even the possibility of a Deadpool movie, because if you're gonna make a Deadpool movie, you gotta go hard R. And that's something that Fox is definitely gonna be hesitant on. I want a Deadpool movie as much as you guys do, but that shit's gotta be dark for me. It's gotta be disturbing, but also equal parts hilarious. And I don't think that Fox has the talent to put that screenplay together or anything, but I'm getting off the subject. Gambit. From the few interviews that I have read, Lauren Shuler Donner seems extremely smart. Think of her as the Kevin Feige of the X-Men base. She has been the driving force to get films like Deadpool and Gambit, and maybe even possibly X-Force put into development. But really, I don't know if she'd have much of a case for the Gambit movie without her poster child, Channing Tatum. Back in May, at the UK leg of the X-Men Experience Global Tour, Total Film got the scoop from Donner herself that the Gambit film is getting made and that Channing Tatum will be playing Gambit. So that's happening. Y'all gotta deal with it. And for me, I'm really excited, and I'm here to kind of convince you guys as to why you should be excited. For some weird reason that I can't quite figure out in my head, some male audiences, I think mostly male nerd audiences, haven't quite gotten the charm of Channing Tatum just yet. Tatum is an extremely charismatic actor, and I think a lot of his more recent performances have really brought out that side of him, as well as a more serious, actual acting side. For example, in chronological order, 10 Years, Haywire, The Vow, yes, I know it's a soppy love story, but damn, he's good in it. 21 Jump Street, Magic Mike, Side Effects, White House Down, 22 Jump Street, and his soon-to-be-released Foxcatcher. I'm so excited! I'm a little hesitant about his acting in Jupiter Ascending, which was recently pushed back to February 2015, and maybe I'll talk about that in a future episode, I don't know yet. But still, there is a mounting pile of evidence that Channing Tatum is actually a good actor and that you should take him seriously. Tatum was recently asked on the press junket for 22 Jump Street how in he is exactly for the Gambit movie, and he said that he is as in as he could possibly be. They're just waiting for everything to come together. The script being written, the director being chosen, and all the other parts of pre-production that lead up to the actual shooting. So it's just a matter of time. This movie is happening, and I'm pretty excited for it. Now, it should be mentioned that Channing Tatum is not Cajun either, but he is from the neighboring state of Mississippi, as well as spending a lot of time not just on films, but opening up a bar in New Orleans. Now, does that mean that he's going to nail the Cajun accent? Probably not. They'll have to hire a voice coach for him, which, who knows, that may happen, may not. If they really want to commit to a Gambit movie, they probably should do that. Again, him being Cajun is one of his defining attributes. So if Tatum can't nail the Cajun accent, what's the point? All of that stuff is worthy of discussion in the comments below, but you can also hit me up on Twitter, follow me on Letterboxd, and if you are a movie fan and don't have a Letterboxd account yet, get one. And join me for the next episode of The Film Feast, where I will be talking about Ant-Man. I'm not going to retread a lot of what the first trailer had to offer, so I'm going to talk about some new bits. We get to see more of Star-Lord sporting his mask/helmet in this trailer, and what I really like about Star-Lord is that he just seems like an ultra super spy. He has all these badass little gadgets and weapons that help him get away in a pinch. And the helmet dissolves, which is extremely cool. As I mentioned a minute ago, Ronan the Accuser is peppered here and there throughout this trailer, and he looks crazy menacing. Take Alex Kurtzman, for example. One half of the main writing team of 2009 Star Trek and Star Trek Into Darkness. A few years ago, he directed his first feature film, People Like Us, starring Elizabeth Banks and Chris Pine. It was kind of a hokey, feel-good movie, but it was also apparent that Kurtzman was comfortable in the director's chair. He also had a good communication with the cinematographer, and had a good relationship with Chris Pine, having worked with him already on 2009 Star Trek. So it would seem fitting that Paramount would choose Kurtzman to direct Star Trek 3. Right? As it turns out, amidst Alex Kurtzman's split with his writing partner Roberto Orci, Orci was actually lobbying to Paramount to get him to direct Star Trek 3.